Alrighty, it is now February 7th of 2020, and ever since the release of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, a lot of fans have been very curious about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney and Lucasfilm. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 is that we do know that this was the very beginning of the Star Wars universe that they were trying to set up. Of course, officially speaking, it's going to begin this March of 2020 with the novelization of The Rise of Skywalker, followed by a series of books, novels, comics, video games, and of course TV shows and movies to come in the future beyond that. Now, the thing about this new universe, I don't know if you guys knew this, but we do know that this new universe is Disney's attempt to really fix elements of the Star Wars franchise, especially elements of the sequel trilogy that a lot of fans really disagreed with when it came to the character of Luke Skywalker and Rian Johnson's take on that character and more, and how they're really trying to focus on everything related to the future of this franchise and exactly where it's going. The fact that they are concerned about this, either because they're desperate or they genuinely want to please the fans and to actually reunite the fan base, is still up in the air. You know, we don't really know for sure. My take is that they're desperate, but one could say that this is a very big, genuine move. Now, the one thing about Disney and, of course, Lucasfilm is that now, of course, one of the big plans is that now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with the sequel trilogy and moving on to their new Star Wars trilogy as well as their new universe, that will take fans into a new direction for Star Wars. This is said to be Disney's way of introducing fans into a new mythology of the franchise, where one of the big plans by Disney and Lucasfilm is to allow creator Jon Favreau to become a part of the new Star Wars universe, where it's explained that Disney has a plan to restart the franchise, to reset it in a sense, not just with how they're going to handle things moving forward, but also by retconning parts of the prequels, the originals, and yes, even the sequel trilogy era. This is said to be their attempt to change how fans view the sequel trilogy and elements of the prequels and the originals as well, and that they are also going to reset Star Wars Legends and bringing a majority of it back into the Star Wars canon under Disney to explore endless amounts of stories for the Star Wars community. Now, it's noted that Disney wants to reset how the fans see the franchise moving into their new Star Wars universe as a way to restructure how they handle things and learning from their mistakes, and that they are bringing on new creators for the new Star Wars universe in the new future, that George Lucas is also going to be heavily involved throughout this process. It's known that Disney also wants to reset the franchise when it comes to some of the existing lore for books and novels that will be modified for the new canon versions of Star Wars Legends material to come in the early 2020s for the new Star Wars universe. This is said to be a very difficult decision, but much needed process through Disney's eyes right now, and that the changes are said to go into effect starting this March, where it all begins. This reset is said to be a risk that Disney is willing to take to reunite the fanbase. Now, on one end, I can see them retconning elements of the sequel trilogy as an okay thing. The thing that I have a problem with is that they're trying to focus on retconning aspects of the prequels and the originals to match it up with specific decisions made in the sequel trilogy. This most likely applies to the Palpatine family, right? Everything related to Palpatine's son, and everything related to who was Palpatine's wife, or lover, or Rey's grandmother at that, whatever way you want to say it, right? So, everything related to what Disney's doing right now, this big reset right now, this big position that they're in order to reunite the fan base, really does speak volumes. You know, if you just take a second and think to yourselves, when you examine The Last Jedi, right? We do know that Bob Iger stated several times that he believed that it was just Star Wars fatigue, in which it really wasn't. It was very unfortunate to hear that from Bob Iger, because that's not the truth. The truth was that a lot of fans had problems with poor writing of these Star Wars movies, or the incompetence of Kathleen Kennedy over at Lucasfilm as head of Lucasfilm because of her firing number of creatives, and also, you know, a number of creatives just stepping down because of creative differences between themselves and Kathleen Kennedy. So, the thing about this new universe, and the fact that it's going to involve this new reset of the Star Wars franchise and how they handle Star Wars Legends as well, the fact that they're bringing Star Wars Legends back into the mix and resetting it and kind of doing their own spin on Legends material, is going to be both exciting and quite worrisome as we go, you know, throughout this path until we actually get to see it. You know, Star Wars Legends, a lot of you, including myself, grew up with these stories, you know, 90s and the early 2000s. Everything that really takes place after the events of Return of the Jedi, and everything that comes in between the originals, and even the prequel trilogy era tapped into Star Wars Legends. It really is quite an expansive part of Star Wars, and the fact that Disney is going to reset that as well is quite risky, I will add. It is something that kind of worries me, and it also excites me because of how much I love Legends. So I'll have to wait and see exactly how they're going to handle things. I think that bringing on new creatives like Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni is a great move, and that this is a step in the right direction. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.